Still on.
This video right here is what had people kind of losing their mind. I'm going to play it in full so you know what we're dealing with. And then I'm going to try and explain to you what my reaction was and what I think most reasonable people's reaction would be. Listen to this.
I'm still on.
I'm still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep?
Hmm?
Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do. You know.
Wild thing to say on camera.
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Corey?
Don't worry about it.
Corey?
Good.
Corey, what did you do?
Do nothing. Look, this came right in my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Dragon Ball Z, where you going with this?
Now, this video, out of context, really, really awful look. But here's one thing that I want to make clear. What we didn't see in that video was like an admission of a crime. What I heard Corey say was, I did something to you while you were asleep. Could have been putting her hand in water to see if she peed herself. Could have been tickling her toes. We don't know. What I think is important to establish when viewing media like this, especially out of context, is what is the relationship between these two individuals? They clearly slept together because they're talking about sharing a bed together last night. Based on information we're going to look at later on, it seems like they were in a relationship. Now, I was shocked to discover that upon seeing this video, and trigger warning for my people out there that may know somebody or have experienced abuse, people saw this clip and immediately jumped to the conclusion that Coryxkenshin was admitting to sexually assaulting this woman. Now, I know that sounds crazy, so let me just replay the video again.
I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
She says, did you watch me sleep? And he's like, yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do. You know. I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Corey?
Don't worry about it.
Corey?
Good.
Corey, what did you do?
Do nothing. Look, this came right in my face. I did.
Another thing that I think is important to acknowledge is not because this is an excuse or a defense, but you can tell by the way that Corey looks that this was a pretty long time ago, and we'll provide some more context for that later.
Didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Now, if you even look at he's joking about how next time on Dragon Ball Z, if you look at the caption that's in this video, it says, you didn't know this was one of the videos you look back on and realize he never cared. He just wanted to see how long you'd let him hurt you. This caption implies something far more nefarious than I think is actually presented in the video. But once again, we're going to get some more context for that. Now, this is another video that was posted in this same post here.
Bacon avocado.
Now, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't really understand this bacon avocado trend. But I feel like if I was going to potentially even imply that somebody took advantage of me, I probably wouldn't have this be the kickoff video. But that's just me.
Bacon avocado. I dated Coryxkenshin, and he hurt me really bad. And I'm not the only one.
Weird video. Coryxkenshin hurt me, and I'm not the only bacon avocado. I don't get it, but she posted it right in the midst of trying to share her story. So, that being said, this is where we're at so far. Now, this is an actual screenshot that I took from this same woman. We'll refer to her as Ninja Panda. I'm pretty sure that's what she goes by on TikTok. I took a screenshot of this. You'll also find it if you take 5 seconds to look at twitter.com. Quick look at your screen right now. This is a screenshot from this girl's TikTok story where she says, for clarification, he did not SA me. Now, I don't really know what could be more definitive than that. What I don't particularly appreciate, just as somebody from the outside looking in, is that the posts that put Cory on blast are posts. They're videos, they're letters with background music. And apparently this person seemed to recognize that the video implied something far worse than actually was and decided to address it via TikTok story that if I go to look for right now, I don't even think is there. I find that to be irresponsible. And if I was Coryxkenshin, I would be pretty upset about that. But that's just me. That's where we're at so far. Now, this should be like an open and shut thing. People saw a weird video. They assumed that she was assaulted. She comes out and says, I wasn't. But there's more to this, okay? As a fellow black man, I'm not trying to see this dude get dragged over nothing. But let's see if it's nothing. Apparently, there is a 3-part series that this woman put out talking about how, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, Cory was a bad boyfriend and a bad ex. Here's our first part. I didn't want to do this, but I don't owe you my silence anymore. There's no clean way to start. Just that familiar weight in my chest while the world kept applauding someone who never showed up for me. So immediately I'm getting like an era of bitterness. People love Cory, but they don't know how bad he treated me, okay? I was never part of your world publicly. You made sure I stayed close, just far enough to be invisible. Your followers eat up the whole man of faith image. Now, she's going to say that she's not trying to cancel him, but it very much seems like it upsets her that he has a very positive image when she is still, and I'm just using this word in the truest sense of its nature, she is bitter about his treatment towards her, and she doesn't like that he's still seeing success and people like love him. That's what I'm gathering from this. Please let me know if I'm tripping. I think what's really important to take from this situation is we're looking for evidence. We're looking for something that shows indubitably that Coryxkenshin has committed some harm against this person. Right now, it's just a little story time. It's a note. It's a letter. You talk about devotion, but act like hurting people in private doesn't count. That's not devotion. That's hypocritical. You fooled a lot of people, but not me. When I met you, I was at one of the lowest points of my life. I was still healing, still trying to remember how to love myself after going so long without it. I had all this love and nowhere to put it. For a moment, your attention made me feel seen. Like maybe I wasn't invisible anymore. Coryxkenshin was giving this girl a lot of validation, it seems, making her feel good about herself, like you normally would in a relationship. Even writing this has me crying so hard. I can barely breathe. The pain still lives in my body like it just happened yesterday. Now, this, she's making it seem as though this is a very traumatic time that she went through with Mr. Coryxkenshin. Not writing this because I still care. I'm writing this because I've carried too much in silence. I don't know if I would, say you don't care at all. Just to be clear, there are 100 slides, couple videos, few stories, and she did a live about this. I'm writing this because I've carried too much in silence. You know what I think would, and I'm not here to just read stuff. I am here to tell you openly, be real. I think therapy would be a great start, If you got a company that has an employee assistance program, if you're dealing with some type of trauma from a previous relationship, I am telling you without a shadow of a doubt, sharing it in this way is not going to bring you more peace. If anything, it's going to make things far more difficult. And I'm not saying that because of retaliation from a creator's fans. I'm saying just in general. people that are onlookers, people that just like drama, people that are chronically online. I don't think that this is going to make her life easier, if I'm being completely honest, but that's just my opinion. You ghosted me. Now, I'm going to try and treat this situation with care, okay? I really, really want to be nice. You ghosted me. Corey is out here treating this woman just like he treats his YouTube audience. I'm sensing a pattern.
Damn.
Okay. Now, I'm not here to downplay anybody's drama, but I think that opening this letter with "you ghosted me" is like, this is what we're talking about. You ghosted me. This is what we get 90,000 posts on Twitter about. This is what we get thousands of TikToks about. This is how we start. Coryxkenshin ghosted me. Here we go. Not because you were confused, but to teach me a lesson. You made me feel like I had to shrink just to earn a reply. Every move was calculated, even if I couldn't see it back then. Now, I would love to see some examples of this. I'm not saying she's wrong or bad. I just, anytime I tried to speak up, you twisted it into something wrong with me. And while I sat alone, replaying every word, breaking myself apart, just trying to make sense of it, they were out here calling you a positive role model. This is another example of you're making me feel bad while continuing to enjoy success on YouTube. This feels like it's coming from a place of bitterness. I'm not a therapist. I'm just a guy reading a TikTok note. They'll never know how many nights I cried quietly into my pillow. Well, they will now. She's sharing it. I think that it's kind of ridiculous that this woman has this expectation of Corey's fans, or really any creator's fans, to be aware of how a content creator has treated their ex-girlfriends. If we're not talking about something that's a crime. It would be one thing if he was beating this girl. Like, he ghosted you. Please be serious. Trying to convince myself it wasn't that bad just so I wouldn't have to admit it. It broke me. The ghosting broke her. You never showed up when it mattered. You only came around when it was convenient, when you wanted something, when it was easy. When I needed care, support, the bare minimum, you vanished. Okay. That was your punishment, silence, distance, disappearing like affection was something I had to earn, like loving you too loudly meant I needed to be put in place. So this feels like a long distance relationship. So Buddy's not picking up the phone, he's not answering text. And this is, I'm not saying that this stuff wouldn't be hurtful, but I'm not seeing anything that's really worth a 100-slide long expose, but here we go. Let's continue. Loving you too loudly meant I needed to be put in my place. You treated my body, my heart, my time like they were things you could shelve. It sounds like he's being a subpar boyfriend, and frankly, you should break up with him. Now, I know that it's going to sound a bit insensitive or callous for me to say, well, if somebody's treating you bad, then you should break up with them. But I'm almost 30. I've been married for a couple years now. I've been with the same woman for, over 8. So you have to show me a little bit of grace. I find it a little difficult to be super, super sympathetic when it comes to I've had a couple relationships in my life. If somebody ever ghosted me, didn't talk to me for a week or two, I would just assume that we broke up and I should move on. But, I digress. I only existed when you needed to feel wanted. You made sure your absence cut deeper than your presence ever comforted. This literally feels like a note from one of Coryxkenshin's subscribers. I read all types of comments like this from Coryxkenshin fans about him just leaving his YouTube channel. The parallels are kind of absurd, if I'm being all the way for real. The worst part, that kind of damage takes effect, so congratulations. And then came the subtle jabs. I would love to see evidence of these subtle jabs. I think that would be easy to show. You once asked if I wanted to know how much you made. I said no because I didn't care. I've never depended on anyone. I've worked hard my whole life and made my own money. I feel like Coryxkenshin asking the girl that he's dating if she wants to know how much he makes is a pretty normal thing to do. I feel like everybody is, curious about what YouTubers make, or any relationship you're curious about. I don't know. I guess all Cody be doing is leaving. Y'all please let me know if I'm tripping. You made me feel small for the job I had, like I was a disappointment, just not living up to your standards. I never asked for your money, your platform, your help, any of it. Now, I just want to be clear. We're a good portion through this first part of this letter, and I haven't seen anything terribly damning. By all means, let me know. I didn't want what you had. I just wanted to be treated like I mattered, like a human fucking being. But even that felt like too much for you. Okay. Probably bothered you that I wasn't impressed, that I didn't melt for your image, your ego, your self-importance, that I saw right through you and still gave you the chance to be real. Okay. Sensing a bit of animosity. But that version of you, the one who could actually care, he never existed. And then came your own. All right, here we go. So this seems to me, Corey just be ghosting. Yeah. This seems to me like a romantic gesture that's coming from the Coryxkenshin guy. He got her flowers, candy, a teddy bear, and a card. Sweet. The first thing you ever bothered to give me, the last thing that felt remotely real. Look, what I'm hearing so far is that Coryxkenshin wasn't a good boyfriend. I mean, this is okay. All right. The card said, Nami, the way I feel about you is real. You are so wonderful, so gentle and kind, not to mention sexy. Jesus Christ, Corey. I miss you and hope this puts a big old smile on that pretty face. The ahem with the winky face, not gonna hold you. I came super late. This is a lawsuit. This is not a lawsuit, not even close. This is, Coryxkenshin's being outed for being a bad boyfriend. I felt like maybe finally something was different. For a split second, I, cracked the armor. I let myself believe you. You called that night to pour out. Oh, here we go. This is Coryxkenshin saying something incredibly nice, according to her. I made a lot of mistakes, but you were never one of them. I cried because even after everything, I still wanted to believe you were capable of being good to me. I would just love, I don't think I'm ever going to be in a situation like this, right? But I would just like to believe that, Actually, a couple months ago, I was kind of in a situation where somebody tried to expose me, and it was just me being nice in Discord. But that's besides the point. It wasn't even like a romantic thing. Just like stupid YouTuber stuff. But what would really lend credence to the idea that he's just like this really, really cruel dude is like, can you show any of these messages? Now, this is a really important part of this. Then the next day, someone told me they saw you in California with another girl. I already knew where you were going. You told me that part. Okay. But you never said who you were going with, so I assumed it was your family. That's how it always was with you. I never really knew what you were doing, just whatever pieces you decided to share. So he's in California. She says that somebody saw him with another girl. Okay. All I did was ask calmly, the way anyone seeing someone would. I'm not the type to pry or get jealous. So she asked, who's the girl? Who are you with? We don't see any evidence of this either. But you snapped at me. You said it was your sister, got defensive. I mean, maybe he was with his sister. I don't know. And if he snapped at you, did he snap on you over the phone? Did he snap through text? It just, last night I was pretty locked in reading this, and this morning I went over reading it again, and now that I'm looking at it a third time, I'm just like, you would think there would be some heavy stuff on the front end. Your reaction said everything, even if it really was your sister. So what does the reaction say? The guilt always slipped out before you could cover it. So did he cheat? You always gave yourself away, and then you ghosted again. Just like your YouTube channel. Okay, all right. Do you know what that kind of pattern does to someone? It rewires your nervous system. It teaches you not to trust softness, not to believe kindness. It makes you think that if something feels good, it's probably a setup. I feel like I'm listening to one of the Hannah Baker tapes. The ghosting, again, the ghosting is rewiring her nervous system, teaching her not to trust softness. My question, Chathu, I would love your participation here. How many times does somebody have to quote unquote ghost you before you're like, maybe I'm not even in a real relationship? I feel like it hasn't been really well established that they have like this really committed, exclusive relationship even. You can't ghost me. First time, maybe there's a reason, there's an excuse. If I get ghosted a second time, we're done. You clearly don't care about me. I don't. That was the real you, not the sweet, funny person you flashed on camera. Now, I wish I would have like noted this, you know? Like the video. I wish I would have noticed this earlier and had you all like count this with me. Very often throughout this letter, she keeps drawing attention to the fact that you're not being nice to me, but you're being so nice on youtube.com. You sound like a bitter person, in my humble opinion. She calls him selfish, image-obsessed coward who cared more about looking good than being good. You could even stay in the same room. As your own consequences because accountability doesn't get likes. I spent so long asking myself what was wrong with me, wondering how I could show up my whole heart and stuff. She's trying really, really, really hard to like make herself the right person for Coryxkenshin, even though he keeps showing her seemingly over and over again that he doesn't care about her that much. And, you know, let this be a lesson to my derps, you know? If somebody keeps ghosting you or making you feel bad, you can always stop, you know? I'm not here to victim blame, but I also feel like it's a little insulting to those who have experienced real abuse to call being ghosted something that you're a victim of. But by all means, let me know. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. She just keeps pouring into Cory and he just keeps ghosting her. Cory's entire fan base, first time? Yeah. You knew how badly I wanted to be loved. Ugh. So you breadcrumbed just enough affection to keep me hoping, then called me crazy for wanting more. Yeah, he doesn't sound like a good boyfriend. And still, I give you the benefit of the doubt every time. It's so interesting that people read all of this and they were like, wow, I can't believe Cory is capable of something like this. This is horrendous. Look, I understand some of this. But I dealt with this stuff like when I was in high school. There was this girl that I dated in high school, and she broke up with me because she couldn't get over this dude. And the dude basically like would show her affection and like, you know, love bomb her, tell her she was everything, blah, 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 just because he didn't want to see her with another dude. And he wanted, you know, the things that she could offer him, you know. A little Haley Welch, if I may. And then once he got that, he would ghost her again. He'd be like, actually, you're lame, right? Now, it didn't take long for this high school girlfriend, then ex-girlfriend of mine, to realize what this guy was doing. His name was and she was like, you know what? I think this guy might be using me. It's like, he's really sweet to me. And then we do stuff, right? And then he stops being sweet to me. I don't think I want to fuck with anymore. And I was like, thank you. Come back to me, baby. And I just, I knew a girl that was 16 years old and figured that out. And we got this girl talking about how Coryxkenshin is essentially, he's nice to you when it's convenient, but he's only doing it because he knows that you're going to come back every time. And it's like, okay. I actually get it. Like, I promise I get it. It's not really that crazy. But let's continue. I kept handing you chances, kept trying to make sense of the hurt. Parts on me, but everything after that, that's all on you. Now, take a quick breather, okay? Stretch. Make sure you're staying hydrated. That was part 1, okay? Now, I wanna interact with you all a little bit because that is 33% of where a lot of this drama's coming. That was part 1, okay? This was just the beginning. Part 2 comes later tonight. She's teasing it like the next episode's on the way. You know what I got from part 1 of this letter, Coryxkenshin? He's nice one day, then he ghosts me. He's nice one day, then he ghosts me. I mean, I'm sorry. She says, this is where it gets worse. This is where it gets worse. Now, let's look at this caption. This is part 2 of the letter. I'm working on part 3 now. Thank you to those who have been reading this with care. That's us. That's us. Thank you. None of this has been easy to share. All right, here we go. If you just tapped in, this is what Coryxkenshin did. Beloved fellow Black YouTuber with over 20 million subscribers. This is the expose. This is part 2, where it gets worse. What did Cory do this time? Part 1 was ghosting. What does he do in part 2? Then came the Xbox messages. Now, shut the front door. Xbox messages. It wasn't even what you said. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to laugh. It wasn't even what you said. It was how casually you said it. Like nothing you'd done had even left a scar. Like you hadn't already shattered me once and just gotten bored. She's referring to the ghosting. Now here's the Xbox messages. This is all alleged. Okay? This is all alleged. Let's try and be charitable. Let's assume that these Xbox messages are 100% real. Now, many people are going to say that they're not. If you think that there's something up with the messages, if you have proof, whatever, DM me on Twitter at @Derapy_. I might check it out at the end of the show. But okay, so what's up? Coryxkenshin says, you still seeing someone? She says, why do you ask? Cory says, because I'm trying to fuck your life up some more. Which is crazy. I'm trying to fuck your life up some more. Now, me personally, right? If I have been a victim of ghosting, if I've been led to believe that this person doesn't care about me, they use me when it's easy or convenient, and somebody says a message like this to me, I would be like, oh, okay. No, thank you, Mr. Samurai. She says, what? He says, that was a joke. Geez, LOL, I was just asking. I mean, I believe him that he's trying to be funny. Is it? No, I don't think so. Never heard you curse before. That's why it threw me off. Okay. That's it. Oh, wait, that's actually it. All right. Like it was funny. Like it was cute. As if the pain you caused the first time wasn't real. The confusion, the trauma, the fucking aftermath. All just a joke now that you were bored again. Now, me personally, I wouldn't tolerate this behavior. I think that you should probably, cut him off. Just to be clear, what have we learned so far? Not only was Cory ghosting her during the relationship, apparently, he's also a bad ex. Have you all ever been a part of a relationship or experience? And I can speak to this personally. I'm not going to go into detail. I have personally been a bad ex, right? There was someone in my life that, had strong feelings for me. I broke it off with them, and then I hit them up after we broke up. And that's not good. You know, when you break up with somebody, if they break up with you, you should leave them alone. I think we all agree there. And, you know, I feel like that's what we can take from this. But do I see anything that's particularly evil about this? Not in my personal opinion, but, you know. Let's continue. My chest locked up. I wasn't even surprised, just furious you still had the audacity to crawl back in like you were welcome. Like I'd let you ruin me again for your own entertainment. You didn't come back to make things right. You came back because fucking with me made you feel powerful, because you knew I used to let you in, because you counted on the damage you did to keep me soft, because you thought I'd be too broken to bite back. I don't know if he was thinking all of that. I think he was just being kind of a dick. This is a lot of words to say that Coryxkenshin was being mean to me after we broke up, if I'm being real. Oh, we have a few more messages. Lock in. Okay. Cory allegedly says, because I wanted you. She says, wanted me how? By the way, at this point, she has a new partner, which, you know, kind of weird that she's spending this much time talking to Cory about how he wants her when she's already with somebody new, but okay. Let's try and put that to the side for now. She says, like in a relationship type of way or something else. Cory says, like something else. Okay. She says, that's kind of messed up. I wasn't a toy. Why is it cropped so much? That is a fair question. Cory says, I know that I wasn't just about to message you after a year and ask you to be my girlfriend. It seems like he's trying to, you know, do something light before jumping back in a relationship. I mean, all right, let's see what's next. More messages here, but I guess I was just, and this is Ninja Panda, this is our girl here, but I guess I was just a good fuck for you. Cory says, when you said relationship, I thought you meant I was just gonna ask you out. She says, nah. Cory says, I mean, you were a good frick, I assume, but that's not all you were. Anyways, doesn't matter, you're with someone. I think it's worth noting that Cory is aware of the fact that hitting her up is kind of a useless endeavor because she's with somebody now. It's kind of odd that he keeps bringing up that, like, she might be with somebody else, and he's saying that so it doesn't really matter. It's like, what I would have liked to see is she tells him, I have a boyfriend, leave me alone, but, you know, not trying to victim blame. She's a victim of ghosting and him being a bad boyfriend, just to be clear. And I think it's interesting how after he says it doesn't matter because you're with someone, she continues, that's how it felt at the time. Even if it wasn't, I wouldn't have let you again. And when I did that with you, it's something I don't do with anyone. Cory says, allegedly, you wouldn't have let me fuck again, LOL. She says, no, I wouldn't. Okay. This seems like a pretty this is like the type of conversation you would expect an ex to have with another ex. I'm not seeing anything like incredibly malicious here, but by all means, like, there's more. Cory says, allegedly, through Xbox message, I'm glad I'm the same. I don't fuck anyone. Double bummer. So I guess Cory's saying, like, he don't get around like that. Okay. She says, the difference between you and I, though, is that I don't do it with just anyone because I was abused. I'm not saying that for you to feel bad or whatever, but for you to understand. Now, this is important context, and I think this is why some people were saying him joking about the stuff when she was asleep is so bad, because apparently he knew that she was taken advantage of previously. And if that's the case, I'd like to once again reiterate, really, really bad joke to make. I do feel like it's also possible that retroactively she connected that video to her animosity with him and tried to, like, connect those dots to make people hate on him harder. But that's entirely speculation. Corey says, I know you told me that. I didn't know I got lumped into the category with the person that did that. And I think that's, that seems like a fair thing for Corey to say. I didn't know I was being lumped in with the person that, assaulted you. And she says, because I was being used for that, I guess that time when you told me how you felt was not real too. She's still asking him about the feelings that he shared with her during the relationship. Oh, I guess that's where the conversation, there's a quick break in the action here. She says, do you hear yourself? You know I'd survived SA. You knew how hard it was to feel safe in my own body. And you used that as leverage just to remind me how far you'd gotten. Did he do that? Threw it in my face like I should be flattered. Was that in the last message? He said, I'm glad I'm the same. I don't fuck anyone. I know you told me that. I didn't know I got lumped into that category with the person that did that. I don't know how that really shows him throwing that in her face using leverage, but, tell me what I missed. Are we surprised he'd be such a horn dog in his videos? You didn't want me. You wanted access, the version of me who froze when things felt wrong, who kept forgiving you because I thought love was supposed to hurt. Ugh. Oof. When I pushed back, you got defensive. I don't know why I'm lumped into that category. Fuck you! You put yourself there! That seems a little, I don't really see how he put himself in that category. Is this stream only on Twitter? No, it's on YouTube.com. It's also on Twitch. Just want to acknowledge this really quickly. We're live on YouTube. It's Derapy. We're live on Twitch at DerapyPod. This feels like a trauma response to me. I don't personally really see what he did to, put himself. I don't know. You crossed lines you had no right to. You knew exactly what you were doing. Then you try to backpedal like everything could be undone if you caught on a mistake. But it was a mistake. It was you being you. So we get some more messages here. Corey says, allegedly, backpedal. You were never used for sex. I need to make sure you understand that. I loved you. Like I said, didn't have my shit together. I mean, if we're being as charitable as possible to our girl here, we could say, oh, he just said that to not make himself look bad. But if he didn't say this, then she would say he didn't even deny anything. So I feel like this is presented to us as if we should assume that everything he's saying is a lie and everything she's saying is the truth. And I don't think that is the best way to consume this information. And based on this timeline, which I honestly have no idea, people are saying it was years and years and years and years ago. I just know personally, if I was the man that was in a current relationship with this woman, I would not appreciate what's going on right now. Airing out all of this stuff is really just going to put stress on the relationship, in my humble opinion. The main reason I don't get into a bunch of detail about my previous relationships or all the stuff I did in college is because, I have a partner and I don't want them to be opened up to this level of scrutiny, but here we are. She does not care about that. She says, you love me? How is that possible? She wants closure. And sometimes in life, you just don't get closure. I'm going to allow some of your comments to pop here on the screen too. Let's move on. She says, then you had the nerve to say, I loved you back then. I just didn't have my shit together. Really? You had the money, the platform. There she goes, mentioning the stuff again. You had the money, the platform, the car, the house, the fans, everything. You had every tool to be a decent human being, and you still chose to be careless with someone you claim to love. So Corey tells this girl that he didn't have his shit together, and she basically says, I don't believe you, you're rich. Which, I'm not gonna lie, that feels kind of mean, but She's like, what do you mean? You're a successful YouTuber. You're literally rich. What do you mean you don't have your shit together? Maybe he's still I don't know, emotionally developing. Maybe he's still growing up. Maybe he has problems in his family or friends, or he's having trouble dealing with the current status of his life. She's like, fuck that. You're paid. Sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent. But, I don't think this is particularly fair in my personal opinion. You had every tool to be a decent human being and you still chose to be careless. How many different ways can you say that he was like a bad boyfriend that you wouldn't leave? I didn't have my shit together either, but I still showed up with heart, with honesty, with care. I never used my chaos as an excuse to mindfuck someone else. So she is basically saying, you're saying that you didn't have your stuff together. I'm saying that I don't have my stuff together, but you should have gotten over it the way that I was trying to get over it so we could have a relationship. And ladies and gentlemen, Chathu, if I may, you're allowed to like not participate in a relationship if you feel like you're not mentally in a good place to do it. If you don't think you're like a responsible person emotionally, you don't have to. I'm trying to like toe this line where I don't want to invalidate anything that this girl's saying. Like, I think that she legitimately is upset about this, but also like everything that we've seen so far looks like so many relationships. So it's just different because it's Coryxkenshin, in my opinion. But let's continue. I guess empathy doesn't hit the same when the mirror's not pointed at you. She's dropping bars. Because if someone can say, I loved you after they've already destroyed you, what the fuck does love even mean? Okay? And if anyone else is reading this, I want you to really ask yourself something. When she's talking to chat. How would you feel? Would you keep making excuses for him? Would you still tell yourself it wasn't that bad? Because I did. I did for a long time. And I held on everything while they held him up. This is like the 5th or 6th time that she has directly referenced that she is upset that he is viewed as a positive role model while she is hurting. And if I'm being all the way for real, like I feel pretty comfortable in saying that despite her consistently saying that she doesn't care about his status or his fame or his platform, I feel like after the 4th or 5th time mentioning this specific bit here, he's treating me bad and people love him. Like, I think I see what the problem is. I'm starting to notice a pattern. Y'all let me know if you're noticing the same thing. I can only imagine what it's like to have an ex that you know did you dirty and see them getting paid and people loving them because, they're a public-facing, God-fearing, hella paid dude. I know that shit hurts. I can only imagine. But there has to be a better way to deal with it. Let's continue. What makes it worse is how many people still praise you. She's still going. How many don't know who you really are? How many built their platforms just by orbiting yours? And while all of that was happening, remember guys, she's not trying to cancel him. And while all of that was happening, something else started happening to me. What would you do if the nurse called your name? Okay. I need you all to lock in. This part is really, really important, okay? What would you do if the nurse called your name and the moment you sat down, the world stopped making sense? T and BC stage 3A aggressive, okay? Why didn't she block him? Don't even get me started. You're staring at the doctor's mouth, but the sound's already gone. No tears, just shock, like your soul stepped out of your body and left you alone to hold the news. Heart slamming against your ribs, tunnel vision, thoughts collapsing under words like chemo, mastectomy, radiation, and outside the pandemic, make sure no one's there to catch you. We're referring to the pandemic, so I'm assuming that this happened at a minimum 4 or 5 years ago. You're isolated, terrified, too stunned to tell more than a handful of people because you barely believed it yourself. You walk out knowing that your life just shattered, yet somehow you still have to keep walking. I reached out to people not for comfort, but for closure. So it looks like she got a bad diagnosis at the hospital. Came down with a bad case of the big C. When you survive trauma like mine, you're forced to face the possibility that your story could end early. You do what feels right for your soul, whether anyone understands or not. So I reached out to you. Now, I just want to pause really quickly, okay? We've just read and consumed a whole lot of material where she's talking about how he's distant, he doesn't give her enough love and affection. She's not getting closure, compassion. She's not getting any of this stuff from him. So she gets this diagnosis and she thinks that it's appropriate to reach out to her ex. Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. I didn't reach out because I was weak. I did it because if my time was up, I wasn't taking your unfinished damage with me. And what did you say? That was the most passive-aggressive cancer reveal ever. LOL. Now look. That was the most passive-aggressive cancer reveal ever. Now, if I'm being real, if I texted one of my exes and told them that I had cancer, she'd probably be like, good. This is a spectrum. There's a range of things going on here. Here's what I think we should acknowledge. What bothers me the most about this part of the story is that, what did she say to him? What is the text that preceded this one? How do we know she didn't say, I got cancer and it's your fault, bitch? Like, I'm not saying that she said that. She probably didn't, but you can't go through this very, very long, detailed reenactment of this is how I found out I was diagnosed, and then reach out to your ex and be like, why wasn't he nicer? What did she say before this? Because if she said, listen, if it comes out that she sends Coryxkenshin, Mr. Samurai Stand-Up himself, a message that says, I have terrible news. I know that we're not on great terms. I know that you don't want to hear from me. I know that you don't care about me anymore. But I'm dying. I have cancer. If he says, that's the most passive-aggressive cancer reveal ever, LOL, he's a piece of shit. He's bad for that. But also, why are you even talking to your ex? Anyways, that's besides the point. I just wanted you all to have a minute with that, drink that in, because what precedes this message to me is far more important than this response. Anybody could bait an ex into saying one thing that makes them look like shit out of context. You could do it right now. I want you to think about it. What could you say? What could you text to your ex right now and have them text you back some really mean shit? And then you could just change what preceded it and be like, yeah, I got hit in the head with a bowling ball while going down a slide, and my ex texted me this, and it's just the word good or something. I'm not saying that this isn't a mean reply. I'm not saying that Coryxkenshin was actually a good boyfriend all along. What I'm saying is this without context is crazy. Also, what is this crop? Who is this even from? How do we know it's even him? Let's just move on. That wasn't just cold. It was fucking cruel. It hit harder than the diagnosis itself. That's crazy. That is the part last night when I read it that precipitated what you're seeing right now. You're telling me that a doctor spent half their life in medical school just so that they would have the skills and resources and tools to give you one of the most devastating diagnoses anybody could receive. And that was bad. But Coryxkenshin saying that it was a passive-aggressive cancer reveal was worse than the diagnosis itself. Get out of my house. Leave your shoes. Be so serious. I'm trying to be nice. But this is kind of where you lost me. It's just me. It's just me. It's just me. You can say that the Coryxkenshin text is really mean and made you feel really bad. But the text hit harder than the diagnosis itself. Leave me alone. If that kind of cruelty comes easily, were they ever human at all? Coryxkenshin's not human. According to our girl here. I lived, and when I came out the other side, I wasn't alone. I was held by people who love me with no agenda. That's what healing looks like. That's what love actually is. Well, you should have reached out to those people
in the first place.
I mean, I'm not gonna crash out. we're triumphant and excited and happy and joyous that we survived and we have people that are there for us. So, like, why were you even trying to hit him up in the first place? But let's move. That was the moment I realized who you really were. That was the moment. Okay. You knew my story. You knew I'd already been through hell. You watched your own mother go through it. This is bad, in my opinion. I think that a lot of other stuff can be forgiven or written off as she's upset that, you know, he treated her poorly. But I think that talking, because, like, I love Coryxkenshin's content, but I'm not at the level of Parasocial where I know that his mother had cancer. Like, I didn't fucking know that. Did you know that? I feel like that's a really crazy thing to share when trying to publicly out somebody. I think that's bad. I find that to be in poor taste. You watched your own mother go through it. You saw what it did to your family. But you're not fam. Like, what? I'm sorry. I'm not going to get mad. The fear, the fight, the way it ripped. He doesn't like you like that, dude. He really... Okay, all right, here we go. And you said it anyway, so what was your excuse? No questions, no compassion, just a joke. I want to know what message she sent before he made that reply. He made a video about it? Oh, he alluded to it? Okay. Well, maybe he talked about it in one of his videos. Maybe that was one of the ones I didn't watch, because, like, I don't go to Coryxkenshin's channel for life updates. I go there for fun content, you know? Like, it's nice that people care about me, like the therapy guy. If people care about the fact that, like, I have a wife and a little sister or whatever, like, if people think that stuff is cool and they care about the people in my life, that's fine. But, like, I don't, you know. I just feel like her using that is kind of cold. I had cancer. Come on, Corey, your mom had cancer. You can't be nicer to me about this. Like, leave? Come on. Because anyone who can witness your pain and feel absolutely nothing was never someone with a soul to begin with. All right, so Coryxkenshin is soulless and heartless, according to his ex. Breaking. Even after I cut the cord, I couldn't breathe because you weren't just a person I left behind. You were a name the internet wouldn't let me forget. You were still everyone's favorite post. There we go again. Are we going to hit double digits on the mention of how she's so upset he has a platform? You were still everyone's favorite post, and no one knew what it cost me. Your fans kept showing up in my DMs, acting like they had insight, but they didn't know a damn thing. Hey, Coryxkenshin fans, y'all gotta chill. There is no reason to be in this girl's DMs. Like, what is actually good? Let me go back. Like, this is a bit much. Anybody in Chathu, we got over 400 people here. Don't ever in your life try and reach out to a content creator's partner or ex-partner. That shit is insane. I will... If any of y'all hit up my wife, I'm calling the FBI. But they didn't know a damn thing. Let's continue. And of course there was In. Now apparently the story gets even more juicy. There's more to this. There's a part 3 incoming. Of course there was In, as in November. She found me through your Xbox friends list. Are people really chatting like this on Xbox? Are people finding friends that way? So In is a new character. She found me through your Xbox friends list, checked my profile, saw my Instagram in the bio, and followed me, but I didn't know that yet. Just another gamer sliding in, nothing strange at first. Then one day, he posted you in her IG stories, and something in me paused. Part 3's coming next. All right, we did it. That was way harder than part 1. I will give her this, you know. Has a true talent for writing, potentially. What do we learn? Part 1, Corey, bad boyfriend, ghost, pretty distant. Bad boyfriend. Part 2, we get bad ex. He's hitting her up after they broke up. Trying to get some action. trying to get what pirates want, a little Haley Welch maybe. And she's like, nah, I got a man. Then she, for some reason, of all the people in the world you could tell when you get a cancer diagnosis, reaches out to her ex expecting sympathy. And he's like, you're being mad passive aggressive. We have no idea what preceded that message. But here we go. This is the grand finale, part 3. What's going on? Oh, let me read this caption. This is part 3. This is the end of the letter. This was everything. If you read to the end, then you understand the full truth. I didn't write this for attention.
Okay.
I didn't write this for attention. I wrote it so I could finally let it go. Thank you to the people who read this with care. Okay. We're trying. All right, here we go. So this is her conversation with some girl. Someone named N. Oh, you're a fan of Cory? She said, yeah. I said, oh, the way this is formatted is awful. Wouldn't it be so much easier to just share the screenshots? Sorry, this is the formatting of this is upsetting. She said, yeah. I said, I'm not. She followed with why. It came off like a curious question, like maybe she knew more than she was letting on. I might skip some of this because like I need something more concrete. Kept it short. We dated, it didn't work out. I didn't realize now she even found me until how she found me until later. Oh man. Did some digging and saw she was following you on Xbox. Here we go again with the Xbox. That's when it clicked. She might have found me through Xbox. Oh my God. Okay. She hadn't done anything weird. She seemed nice. We had light conversations. She liked some posts. The vibe was off. I didn't have proof, just a gut feeling. What? What are you doing? Then the anonymous IG account showed up. What does this have to do with Coryxkenshin? They started calling her out. First, the way they worded it made it sound like I was part of the problem too, but that wasn't the case. Okay. This anonymous account, they weren't trying to come for me. They were trying to warn me. They were calling in out. Okay. Anonymous Instagram account calls out this in character that has befriended Panda here. They just didn't have my full story, but they knew. Okay. That's when things started to click. What's clicking? Please share with the class. This wasn't new behavior. In had done this before. Turns out she had a reputation in your space. So much Coryxkenshin lore drop happening right now. What is going on? Where is this discourse happening? What is happening? The account explained their intent. They wanted the truth out, but the truth about In. The cruel, manipulative shit she was doing in your community. What does this have to do with Coryxkenshin? Then In messaged you directly. Where's the proof of this? Tried to paint her own version of the story, one where I was the problem and you were aware of what was happening. How do we know this? What is going on? Oh my God, we are dragging this, dude. You never asked me what was going on. I don't know what time this is. I don't know if they're together at this point or not. I don't know what year it is. I don't know where I am. What time is it? What is happening? This shit makes no sense. This is a fanfic. I don't know what's happening. Never even questioned why your name was suddenly tangled in quiet drama. You just watched it unfold like it had nothing to do with you. But does it even? What is happening? I'm sorry. I've been doing really good. I feel like I've been doing a really good job so far trying to take this seriously. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. All right, here we go. One of your close friends, Brandon, someone who had never acknowledged me, suddenly started watching my IG stories like clockwork, like he was assigned. Okay, block him? Okay, this is our first actual evidence of something real happening. It's a screenshot of Bang Bang Brandon looking at her Instagram story, and she's saying that this is a real life friend of Corey's, and he watched her Instagram story. It's Corey's manager. Okay. No apology, no courage, just surveillance. And although I hate drama, and this was never something I wanted to be a part of, especially when I was minding my own damn business. Are you, though? Are you? You and Ann are talking about Corey. You're checking your IG stories to see who he's... Check his story. He posted about it. This novel is losing me. Yeah, same. Started to feel like a sign, a push I didn't ask for, but maybe needed. Okay, what is this leading to? Looking back, I'm grateful. Because of that, I met the others. One by one, I got introduced to more of them. Women with stories. Women with messages they never sent. Women who saw the same patterns. The same affection when it benefited you. The same withdrawal when emotions got real. Blame always... I don't know how the Instagram story surveillance led to all these other women reaching out with stories about being ghosted. But okay. All right, the weight doesn't feel so heavy anymore because there are other women that have been ghosted by Coryxkenshin. Easy to carry, but the pain doesn't need permission to be real. Maybe I was meant to be the one to speak until they're ready to. They are not alone because everyone deserves that moment, the one where it's safe to exhale, to feel seen, to be heard, to remember they're real. This is my story to tell, and theirs to protect until they're ready. Jesus Christ, hold on. This is, okay. Why speak now? Oh, she's doing like a frequently asked questions at the end of the letter. Okay, this part 3 is literally nothing. Nothing happened. Come on, okay. Why speak now? As if timing ever made truth more comfortable, because I was tired of living like your name held more weight than my voice. Tired of wondering if speaking would get heard. Okay. All right, she's explaining why it took her so long to speak out. Some people told me to stay quiet, thinking it would protect me, but that kind of protection still hurt because it made me feel like the world wasn't... I'd rather be hated for telling the truth than stay silent. Okay, this was never about revenge. This is never about revenge. This is about accountability. You wore kindness in public and cruelty in private. Cruel? Okay. And silence helped you get away with both. I'm done swallowing my story so you can keep your fake reputation intact. Oh my God, okay. Why didn't I leave? Because, fuck, I was human. Because I wanted to believe he wasn't as cold as he acted. Because part of me thought that the... All right. Okay. People love to ask, why didn't you just leave? But they never ask, why did he make it so hard? Dude, no, we aren't... Sorry. I'm not going to crash out. Nobody would be asking these questions if you didn't publicly share this. Wrap this shit up. I'm trying. Sorry. Why did he keep coming back? Just enough to confuse me. Why didn't you just block him? I didn't stay because I was weak. I stayed because I wanted to believe it would get better. Because I thought... Okay. All right. I didn't know how much damage had been done. I'm not that girl anymore. Even soft girls snap when they've had enough. And I fucking had enough. Life was heavy. I was dragging pain no one could see. Let's get one thing straight. I didn't write this for you to believe me. Interesting thing to say. I'm not here to ruin him. Okay. I'm asking you to sit with the truth. Chathu, this is what we want. She wants you to sit with the truth. Just sit with the truth. Even if it makes you sick. He manipulated, discarded, and walked away clean every time. I'm not the first. I won't be the last. Oh my, okay. you don't know me, but you don't know him either. You know the version he shows you. Chathu, I know this is going to sound hard to believe, but I might not exactly be the exact same person as I am when I'm doing Therapy Yaps live than when I am when I'm drinking with my friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. I know that's going to blow your fucking top, but, you know, I just need you to sit with that, even if it makes you sick. I need you to understand that the way that I am talking to you right now on this live show is not the same way I talk to my ex-girlfriend, okay? Two very different things. I need you to come to terms with that, all right? It's just, you know, I just need y'all to realize that. Okay, so if you want to excuse him, go ahead. You're not defending a good man, so he's a bad man, okay? You can side with him, just don't act surprised when more stories surface. Oh my God, there's more. So the girl's still watching him with hearts in your eyes, thinking you'd be the exception because you're different, prettier, more understanding, more his type you won't be. You sound like a fan, bro. I'm sorry. I felt myself about to get mean. Sorry. She's acting as if like, were you a fan? You sound like you were a fan. And if that is the case, she a fan. I'm sorry. let me be serious. If Coryxkenshin is out here, like stringing along fans and hooking up with them and making them feel important and then blah blah blah, like that's obviously shitty. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but if that is the case, then you know that's bad. But it's just weird. She's like making this plea to his female audience and being like, "You're not special. He's gonna try and make you feel special." And it's like, I don't know. Okay, thank you, Chathu. I'm here to warn you. If you're a woman and you're a fan of Coryxkenshin, he will not love you good. Okay. If you take nothing else from that, do not try to date Coryxkenshin. He is a bad boyfriend and apparently an even worse ex. You could be stunning, soft, loyal, everything he claims he wants. She's just like, don't date him. He's bad. He mentally chips away. He makes you question your worth, your memory, your tone, your reactions. We saw no evidence of this. Just none. Like, this is just straight yapping. No receipts. Ask yourself this: would he stay if things got real, messy, vulnerable? Like, who? All right, this doesn't even feel like it's for us anymore. This has to be almost done. The red flags are there. If you love yourself, leave now. She's talking like he has this whole harem, this whole cabal of women he has on a string. Before you lose pieces of your heart, your mind, your identity, trying to not the strongest, most beautiful, or most forgiving can fix a man who's addicted to power over your soul. I feel like I'm listening to a High Top Films video. It's still going. I know your experience may have been different. Some of you found comfort in his content. Maybe you... All right. Some will deny it. Some will defend him. Some will twist it into something that's not. Because facing the truth is harder than holding on to the version that they were... Is this even about Cory anymore? She wants likes and digital hugs. Chill. All right. No extra words. No permission. No apology. Just truth. Chattahoochee? Chathu? We did it. What did we learn? That is the Coryxkenshin expose. How do we feel? Like, is he done? Is he washed? And for context, just so we can bring this full circle, this is not a damn thing. I learned nothing. Okay, finally. All right. Then we got this.
And it was awful.
Did you watch me sleep?
Hmm?
Did you watch me sleep?
Can I just be real? After reading all of that, I feel like she knew that it wouldn't get a significant amount of motion if she didn't post this video right afterwards implying that like he assaulted her. because all of that other stuff can literally be chalked up to he was a bad boyfriend and he tried to hit me up after we broke up. And he swears. To post this video about him doing something to you when you were asleep and then not talking about it for hours, then posting a TikTok story about how he didn't indulge you way later on. That's her face, I guess. I don't know. So she posted a story showing that the messages are real. And you know what's so funny about this? I have been operating under the assumption that all the messages are real. And even if they are real, I still honestly don't care at all. I kept waiting. I don't know about you all. Please let me know. 400 people. Were you expecting worse? I saw this man's name trending last night. I thought that something actually happened. Turns out that can you refund my hour? No. Y'all hit me on Twitter in the DMs. If you feel like there's anything that you missed. Final verdict. If we are being as charitable as humanly possible to this girl, if we take everything she said at face value, if we assume that everything she said was true and everything in those messages is real, I can come to the conclusion that Coryxkenshin was not the best boyfriend. He ghosts people, and he might be doing this to many other women. And if you're one of those women, stop letting him ghost you. Just leave him. He's not that nice. He is not the same guy on YouTube as he is when he's dealing with somebody he's in a situationship with. Don't try to date Coryxkenshin. Not a good boyfriend. That's it.